So this time working on a film called The Real McCoy.
Quick, head for the hills. Did we just see that?
I've never seen this film before. So what happened in it? Well, a 140-year-old parent with an attitude and a teenage boy who go in search of buried treasure in an attempt to save the boy's free-spirited and youthful grandfather from living the rest of his life in a retirement home. Oh my gosh. I wish I had seen this as a child, because if I had, I would have such nostalgia for it right now. I would be singing. I mean, I'm already going to try and sing its high praise. I'm going to try and do that. Because this is a film where I can honestly say this is a bit of a classic. Heck, it even opens up fairly well, like, say, you know, a pirate and the parrot going saying, rah, 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 trying to find a way. The parrot's name is, Mac.
Come on, baby. Come on.
Present.
Yes.
Present.
A pox on you, then, bird.
In the North American version, he's voiced by John Goodman. And, like, say, you know, like, what ends up happening is, like, say, the pirate is just, like, saying, like, hey, get out of here, bird! And eventually, the treasure he has, because he has a treasure, ends up getting stuck on an island. Then we go up to a few years, where the parrot now lives with our main character of Sam, along with his grandfather. And what ends up happening is Sam's living on his grandfather's property in Australia, and the grandfather's the only one who realizes that Mac, the parrot, can talk.
Cheer up, my boy. To the wonder of life, huh?
The wonder of life, Grandpa. Sorry, mate.
And what ends up happening is at one moment, his grandfather ends up falling and getting hurt. And I think it's basically his son, Rick, basically tells him, like, say, hey, Dad, I'm going to have to sell your home because, you know, people are wanting money from you. And at the same time, you're going to have to go to a retirement home, and oh my gosh, I'm already getting emotional. Like, say, when the sequence in, like, when they're saying, say, hey, in hospital, we're taking this bird.
Rest. We'll see you tomorrow.
I don't want to go.
Okay, let him stay.
How's he gonna get home?
We'll wait.
And Rick's like, say, no, let him keep his bird. That's his bird. And all that, you know, like, he talks to birds. So, eventually, Sam realizes that Mac can talk, and he goes, like, say, like, we gotta find the treasure, boy, we gotta find the treasure, boy. And at first, like, you know, like, he's having to chase Mac around in different locations in the city.
What kept you? Okay, into the museum. Yeah? First of all, we gotta get this ring off my foot.
And he eventually goes, like, say, you know what? We're going on an adventure. Because there is a treasure and all that. And I'm gonna be honest, at times I thought that this film had such a great amount of adventure to it. It was so, yes, even though this film was G, like a rated G, it was kind of charming. It was so charming in a way, I thought. Like, yes, at times I felt like the parrot could be a little annoying. I mean, then again, I also feel that's, like, say, the unfortunate part of, like, say, films and, like, talking parrot films. Um, and what ends up happening is that they end up going to a museum, and then Mac realizes, like, say, hey, we need to figure out where, the treasure is, so they end up bumping into,
Where did you get this from, Sam?
Someone gave it to my grandpa.
I think it's more important than you realize. It comes from a remote Amazonian temple.
a guy named Dr. Hagen. But he's also trying to get the treasure for himself. So it's like, say, a bit of a race to try to get that treasure as well. And during this process, Sam's mother and father are trying to go after him to protect him.
Uh-huh. And what makes you say that?
If I tell you something else, will you all swear never to utter a word to anybody?
Yeah.
There's a treasure buried there. I think Sam and Mac must have gone after it.
Is everything all right?
I really figured that those moments of adventure, like, even though, like, yes, we get the idea that at times Mac is a bit of an annoying parent, like, he's at times very mean to Sam. But at the end of it, like, say, like, when, Mac is yelling at him, like, say, hey, like, you're always gonna give up, you're always gonna give up, and all that. And then, like, Sam is like, say, I'm done with this, you're a mean bird, you're a meanie bird. So the meanie bird basically, Vin Mac basically goes like, say, we're going on this adventure, buddy. We're going on this adventure. So they continue to go on the adventure until they end up bumping into the bad guy.
You must understand that history is far more profitable than people realize. And people will go to extraordinary lengths for that profit. Thank you, dear boy.
And I'm really kind of surprised. I really thought that, the scenic designs, the scenery, the locations, it all made this film relatively memorable. And I really kind of think it was like, maybe the film takes place in a Australia. I could be wrong. Yes, I can honestly, like, I can understand, like, someone saying, that the plot is a bit thin, and someone going to say, okay, this is silly, this is like a silly movie about birds, but I do think at times the film has a bit of a sense of heart to it. Especially the sequence in which the character of Mac, the bird, ends up blowing up the bad guy's boat.
This is one bird dropping you'll never forget! Ah!
Here comes the waterworks. Here it comes. And at first, we think that the character of the bird Mac has passed on. But that's not the case. And then he ends up surviving, and I just like to say, oh. Why am I crying over this, like, parrot movie? Parrot treasure movie? And when they're able, when the bag, when like say the father and the grandfather are able to like say, hey, we found Mac, we found Sam, and all that. Like the bad guy tries to get away one last time, and they go say dog tackle and all that. And at the end of it, they're able to get him away from everything, and they basically say, hey, what do you want to do with the treasure? Sam takes it back to the island. And Max says goodbye to the grandfather, to Sam, and all that. And at first, like, say, it's gonna be have a sad moment. But his mother, who is also a bird, basically says, I've been waiting for you for 100 blah blah years. Where have you been, young man? Goodbye! Goodbye! Don't leave me, guys! I would just like say, well, that happened. That wasn't. That part was like a. That was an ending, I guess. I'm gonna say, like, say yes. At times, the production of it film was. I liked it. I thought, like, say the young actor playing Sam does a good job. And at times, I thought the film had a sense of heart about it. I'll see you next time.